Welcome back to my channel. My name is Tyler, and today what I have for you today is my EDC work edition that I use at work in the bush. Stand by. All right, real quick, I want to point out that I apologize that videos have been kind of skimp lately. I've been really hammered at work. It's the busiest time of the year. It's the holiday season, so I haven't had a chance to get out into the bush and do survival challenges and film my regular content. I've just been so busy at work. So now I finally was able to get a free moment to get out here and show you guys another challenge. I thought we'd make the video interesting and show you what I use at my job on a daily basis and how you can use it in a survival situation if that's all you had. All right, so real briefly, we'll go over the kit that I use here at work on a daily basis. Now, obviously, hydration is important. So what I have for you today is a plastic water bottle that I use at work, and as you can see, here's the company that I work for. And I'm going to show you guys a technique on how to use rock boiling to boil water in. Next thing you'll see is my little notebook, and is also here in my vest. I also keep a couple pins. Get these out real quick. Got some pins here in my vest. That's my ID badge. And I'll even show you how to use the cards inside of here, because I have other cards here as fire tender. So I got my notebook here. I can use this to write maps, make notes. And I'll show you guys how to do all that. Also in here, I also keep some scraps of paper from my work, because I do work in a warehouse, so I do have to keep extra pieces of paper with me and stuff. And also, the only knife that I have with me is these little safety knives that my work uses. I'm going to show you how to use these as a proper blade. You can see inside there is a blade inside of there, but I'm going to show you how to use this in a proper manner without by exposing the blade even more to use in an actual survival situation. One thing that I do carry with me that I do have at work is a small little pocket survival kit, and this is all the contents that I got at work. So inside of here, I'll go ahead and I'll display the contents right now. I'll bring you guys in for a close so you guys can see. All right, so real quick, I'll go over the contents of my work survival kit, of my work pocket survival kit. I keep in this little baggie here, which you could use for collecting water in if you had to. First item I'm going to show you is a broken down lanyard that people use to wear their ID badges on, but I can show you the multiple uses you can use with a lanyard. Next item is a clip that you can use for the hand scanners that we use at work. A lot of people there use hand scanners, and these little clips, they attach them to one end goes to the scanner, the other end goes to their lanyard, so they can wear it hands free. The other items are, I just have a couple little rubber bands here. You could rubber bands that I keep on me for tying stuff down if I need, and I can show you how to use those in conjunction with my knife. Another thing employees like to wear are these little sweatbands. It's just but I found out that these are actually 100% cotton. You can use these for char cloth. You can use these to filter water with. You can use them for first aid, medical aid, all that stuff. So I'm going to show you how to use this as a filter. Next, I have some basic first aid stuff with me. I just have some aspirin with me, some first aid cream, a basic Band-Aid, and a couple of alcohol prep pads for wounds. So I just have a little small first aid kit with me. Next, I keep chapstick with me that I use at work because it gets real dry there, and in certain areas it's real hot and your lips tend to get chapped up real bad, so I just carry some basic chapstick with me. This also has Vaseline in it. You can use this as a fire starter. Next item I keep is just a small carabiner with me. I use this in conjunction with my knife. I usually just wear my little safety knife that you saw in a previous video. I just clip it to my vest, so that way I have it on me. But I can show you how to use this in conjunction with my vest. That's also something else I failed to show real quick too. This is the vest that I wear at work. So now, me working in a warehouse, a lot of areas that we have to wear a high visible vest. So I can show you how to use this as a signaling device. I can show you how to use this to alert search and rescue. So a high visible vest is a must-have. Next, now I don't really use this at work. I just kind of keep it on me just in case, but I do carry with me at work a small Bic lighter, just a basic standard Bic lighter that I already prepped, took off the child lock. And ironically, I actually found this in the parking lot of my work. So I was like, you know what, I'll just throw it in with my kit, and it does actually, as you see, it does work. So I do keep that with me at all times. So that is the contents of my little EDC survival kit that I carry with me at work. All right, so now let's discuss cover elements. So obviously, I'll go over the contents. I'll go over the jacket that I was using to keep my pocket survival kit on. This is just a little sports jacket that my work gave me. If you do certain projects and stuff, like if you're a trainer, they'll give you certain perks and stuff that you can use. So this is a jacket that I recently acquired at work that they gave me, and I can use this as, you know, obviously we're well dressed for the season, so I already have so I could use this as like an extra cover, like a rain flap. I could use this as like if it's real windy and I'm trying to get a fire going, I can use it. I can stick a stick in the ground with my and put my coat over that and get inside there, and so that way the wind can't try to put my fire out when I'm lighting my tinder bundle. Next item I carry with me is my work vest. This, like I said, due to certain areas at my job, we have to work in areas that require a high visible vest, but we can use this to alert search and rescue to our purpose by hanging it up in a tree as a passive signal to allow search and rescue to see it. We can use it as a marker to get if we have to get away from camp. We can use that to know where to come back to. We can also turn this into a flag by cutting a stick off the landscape and using that and waving this around like a flag, active signal to alert search and rescue. Also inside my vest here, I keep a multiple of cards here because I need because they all do certain things. But one card, actually, if you actually scrape one of these cards off, you can actually use the material that the card is made out of to help you start a fire, because it is highly flammable. I've done that before. Now obviously I'm not going to use my actual the blue one you just saw. That's my actual work badge. We're not going to use that one, so I'm going to use another card that we have in here. I just keep those in a little small window here. And of course, obviously I have also have a bunch of different style pens and a couple markers with me. Because at work when I'm training, I take a lot of notes. So but we can also use that in conjunction with our notebook to draw maps, write letters, make markers for ourselves. So that way we can tell people, hey, I went this way, or I went this way, and we can leave clues for search and rescue to find us if we need to. We don't need a whole lot for this demonstration, but I want to show you that the water actually did come out pretty clear. I don't really see any dark spots in there, but you still want to take the chance of actually boiling out that water. But it just goes to show that you can use a piece of cotton material in conjunction with a plastic water bottle to filter your water. And I'll show you guys the technique on how to stone boil your water, because we're not going to hang this over the fire. All right, now as you can see, we were able to successfully get water. You saw in the last video that the last shot I didn't have that much in there, but I went ahead and kept the water bottle in there, and I was able to get the whole thing filled up. Well, most of the way. Now, as you probably saw, the cotton material, it does take some time. I had to keep that. I actually ended up having to put the water bottle in the water and actually put a rock on top of it to actually submerge it. So it did fill it up. It just took quite a while, but it does show that in survival you can use your everyday items that to collect water for you. So the next order of business now, before I say anything, now this water, we cannot drink this water. Even though I filtered it, it still has to be properly boiled or disinfected. Now, obviously, with my work EDC, you probably saw I don't have any water disinfection tablets, so we have to boil this. So the only way now is to boil this water, and I'm going to show you guys a technique on how to do that called stone boiling. But first, our next technique is we need to get fire. So real quick, I'm going to show you how to turn this knife into a proper blade that you can use in the fields. So my goal is to expose the blade all the way, and then take one of my cards that I have inside of my work vest and scrape some of that off to get a fire going. Now, I did a recon out here earlier, and a lot of the wood out here is wet, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. But I know how to get a fire going in the woods when everything is wet. So stand by for that. All right, as you can see, we got most of the blade exposed. So I think we'll be able to work with this. And I even got a little bit of a handle here. So let's see what we can do with this. Let's see, this card seems like a good candidate. So now what I'm going to show you is how to take this knife and scrape off some of the card to get you some fire tinder. So you see those little shavings we're getting right there? That's what we're looking for right there. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to see those little shavings that are coming off that card? That's what we're looking for. So once we get us a nice pile, I'll gather that up and we'll use that to get our fire going. So we're getting us a nice little pile of shavings collected there. And we'll gather those up. Or what we could do is they're actually developing right there on the side of the card. We actually could ignite that and just use this entire card as one big tinder if we have resources to spare. Now, if this was our only card, obviously we want to conserve. But since I have the resources with me, we could just go ahead and just expose the fine fibers on the card and just go ahead and just light the whole card as one and use this as the tinder. So now that we got us a nice little pile of shavings, I'm gonna keep scraping till we get us a nice little pile. But and once we get that, I'll come back to you and we'll show you how to use this to get a fire. All right, we'll give that a chance to kind of take off and then we'll go from there. All right, well, as you can see, we successfully got fire. So now our next step is to go ahead and get our rocks inside the fire here and get those heated up so we can put them inside the water to stone boil our water. So stand by for that. All right, I went ahead and gathered some rocks here around camp to put these in the fire. Now, quick tip: if you're going to use stones to boil your water in, make sure they come from a dry source, because if you get them from a wet source, there could be water inside the rocks. If you put it inside the fire, that fire will heat up the water, which could cause the rock to explode to cause injuries. So make sure that if you're going to use stones to boil water, make sure they're from a dry source. These right here I found here in camp, they're good and dry. I'm going to throw them here in the fire. Let those get nice and hot. And then we're going to use those stones to put inside our water to stone boil. Alright, well, it's time to go ahead and check on our rocks now. Our fire's kind of died down, so I went ahead and cut me a stick, had it dry by the fire. I'm going to make me a simple set of bush tongs. They don't have to be perfect as long as they're flexible, just like this. I don't care as long as they're flexible. In here, okay, put the rock out. There you go. Actually, we're going to use this other one. There you go. Gotta kind of dig in here for the fire. There's our rock. We need to get that inside the. It's hot. Yep, it's hot. Fight with this a little bit. Yep. Get that inside the water ball there. Now, there we go. Now, as you can see, right close to the camera. See those bubbles forming inside there? The water's now starting to heat up. So let's get a second one in there. And now, real quick, these rocks are not going to hurt us because I got them from a dry source. So they're not going to, even if they weren't from a dry source, they're not going to hurt us. So it is actually safe to drink the water with the rocks inside. So we'll go ahead and get this other rock in here. Get it underway. I don't have the best set of tongs in the world, so we're just going to have to make do with what we got. There we go. Oh, got a leaf with it. We dump our water over. That's okay though, it's just for a demonstration. And there we go. And see, there we go. And as you can see now, we got smoke coming out of there. And now this water, you can get it up to a rolling boil if you want to, but right now, with the way the heat pasteurizing the water, we got little bubbles forming. This water actually is now go ahead and safe to drink. So it's actually pasteurized right now. So. A little bit warm, but it's clean. So yeah, that's one way of actually using using stones to disinfect your water. Now, like I said, you can get it up to a rolling boil if you want to, but I was just showing this for demonstrations. So yeah, a little bit of a stone boil technique for you. All right, now's a good time to talk about land navigation. Now, obviously the area that I'm operating in today is an area that I'm familiar with. I know the way that I'm looking at the camera right now, that is west. What's behind me is what behind me is south. This way is north, and this way is south. So I know that for a fact. So what I'm going to show you is how to use my notebook. Now, this is a notebook that I use when I'm taking notes or if I'm training. I can show you guys how to use the paper in here and how to make what's called a pall map. So a pall map is basically a map that you make yourself. You look around your area and you kind of get a visual idea, and then you plot that on a piece of paper. So I'm going to show you guys different areas here that I operate in to show you how to make what's called a pall map. So stand by for that. And there you go. That's how you create a quick pawl map in the field using my work notebook. All right, now the last lesson I'm going to show you guys before we call it, I'm going to show you guys how to turn my work vest into a signaling device, both passive and active. Now passive is where we hang the signaling device in a tree and we leave it there and it's always signaling no matter what. Active means we have to constantly keep using that signal in order to alert rescue. So I'm going to show you how to do both active and passive. All right. Now, real quick, what I thought I'd show you real fast for the active signal is to turn my vest into a flag. I've already pre-cut a stick off the land, and I already ran it through the sleeves of my vest. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that lanyard that you saw, that I'm going to go ahead and take my little makeshift little knife here that I made, and I'm going to attempt to cut the lanyard in half and use one end to tie on this end and one end to tie on this one. Now, you could also use the rubber bands that I have also, if you want to. If you don't want to, if you want to use your lanyard for something else. In this case, we're just going to use the lanyard. Now, bear in mind, the knife that I am using is not the best knife in the world, so it might take some time, but by doing those little rocky motions, there it goes. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lighter and I'm going to solder this together so it doesn't unfray. So let me do that real fast. There we go. You can't really see it because it is windy. It is a little bit windy out here, so the wind wants to keep putting my lighter out. You know, and I ain't gonna worry about it. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one end and I'm gonna tie it off on my vest right here. There we go. And you can do and we're gonna do a shoelace knot. Okay. And for extra retention, if you wanted to, you could take one of these rubber bands and run it through the stick just like this. Double over on itself and keep doubling on itself as many times as you need to hold it into place. I screwed that up. Keep doubling on itself just like this to really hold that because you don't want your flag coming apart on you when you're trying to alert search and rescue. That wouldn't be fun. Okay, so we're good there. Lash that off. And we'll do the same thing. And now we'll come over here and we will do the exact same thing. We'll come over here, we'll wrap it around, get that little shoelace knot going on, or we could use an overhand knot, whichever one. I think for this one we'll do an overhand knot because they seem to work a little better. So we'll do 2 overhand knots. There we go. Alrighty. And there we go. So now, as you can see, we have turned our vest into a flag to wave as an active signal to alert search and rescue. So, alrighty. Alright everybody, that does it for this video. Just a quick video on showing the EDC that I use at work on a daily basis. Again, I apologize that videos have been kind of skimped because it's the holiday season at work and it is really busy, and I'm working overtime and I just don't have time to get out to the bush this week and get a video out. So I had some free time, so I figured I'd use it to get out a quick survival challenge. So thanks for watching, and I will try to get another video out as soon as I can.